What's up, everyone? Andrew Kalista from the Blue White Tailgate Podcast Network, and Mike Gross, also of the same network, but of the Gross Rational product. And we are high above Beaver Stadium, where we've been for the last couple games all this season. And under 2 minutes left in the game, Northwestern converts, gets a first down, and I'm standing close to Pat Kraft on the sidelines, and I hear, "That's it." Well, I'm pretty sure that was in reference to the game, but you could take that in a lot of different ways, but it's pretty, pathetic on, kind of like how this year has gone, Mike.
We talked about not wanting one loss to turn into two. Well, now obviously it's turned into three, and the future of the program clearly is at a crossroads now, and we don't know what's going to happen next, but we know that what has happened now is not acceptable. You look around here, and this is a big operation. Penn State football is a big thing that a lot of people are invested in, that a lot of money is invested in.
Right there, a symbol of that investment, massive capital going in.
And this is not what everybody paid for. This is not what everybody bought in for. It was awful to stand there and watch James Franklin walk off the field tonight. It was awful. It was sad. I'm not this is not gonna be a vicious attack on James Franklin. But something has gone wrong here, and the program is in a ditch. And I don't know what happens next in the short term, but certainly there are going to be big changes in the long term.
Yes, massive changes are coming. I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't actually say that massive changes don't go past. They might start this week.
They might.
I don't think that's James Franklin, but I think some changes are going to start this week.
This could happen.
This is an unmitigated disaster. You get a perfect chance to right the ship going out to what would be a UCLA. Obviously, they have found a spark. They laid it on Michigan State this week. Indiana, by the way, they went west in travel. I guess the central time zone just plays different things with your body.
Yeah, I thought the theory was when you cross the Rockies, that's when it happened, but they were able to do it unless Indiana is just really damn good.
Yeah,
and Penn State still has to play Indiana.
You talked about watching James Franklin on the field. I was steps away from him, as were a lot of media members. It felt awkward. It literally felt cringe. Most players came over and shook his hand. This does not happen. This does not happen. Normally, it's joyous. You go, you see the recruits, even after losses, and I've never seen players, that many, come up to James Franklin almost as if it was a plan. Thanks for everything. Adios.
Yeah, and we don't know that that's the case.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of really raw emotion. Mm-hmm. I mean, somebody got arrested.
Yeah, cops were chasing a fan that was screaming Franklin's a fraud right behind them.
Yeah,
cops over the rail chasing them down the tunnel. There were awkward situations. The fans were vocal. To James Franklin's credit, and I know you don't want to hear this, I have been talking about James being smarter with certain things. His family is waiting for him. There's a lot of family that were here. They all stayed in the tunnel. That was smart, and James waited to walk out of the tunnel and let his family go in front of him. Whether you like James Franklin or you don't like James Franklin, he's a husband, he's a father, and that was a very smart move by him, because I really wanted to ask him. I didn't think it would be appropriate in this situation, but I almost wanted to ask him post-game as the last question. Can I ask you a personal question, Coach? How tough has this been on your family? And I know you folks at home don't really care about that, but they're still human beings, and there still is a human element.
Yeah, that's right. You're exactly right. There's a human element to this, and I don't know what's going wrong with this football team. This is unbelievable. They had, even as bad as this was today, they were in a position where if their defense could have got a stop at the end, and Northwestern runs straight at them and goes right down the field and puts it away. I don't know. Nothing works. This whole notion of complementary football, which is kind of just stop them and be effective on offense. There was a lot of that breakdown today.
I think salt in the wounds to a lot of Penn State fans. Northwestern's running back had a chance to run it in for a touchdown and knelt it down. If only that would have happened at Indiana back during COVID. I mean,
I'm sure that crossed the mind.
Things could, I know people say, "Oh, that's such a long time ago." small little things have a dramatic effect in college football.
Well, they certainly have in this season. It's certainly been a snowball effect of a lot of little things that have become a gigantic thing. And I just can't imagine that James Franklin is going to be the head coach of this football team in August of 2026. No. It's unthinkable. I don't know how they get there from here with the money and the buyout and all that stuff. I don't know how they get there, but it's unthinkable.
He seemed defeated last Monday a little bit. I thought he kind of did good in the press conference. There's a little bit more energy on Wednesday, I thought. And this press conference was something that we've never seen. No recaps, like right to it. A lot of we will get this fixed, and a lot of James Franklin's first accountability. I know that's been a question in the past. It's been called out nationally. He kept saying we'd get it fixed. I almost felt like we were back in 2014, ironically, against Northwestern, when he came in and said we were going to get this fixed. The offense is an unmitigated disaster. The defense is not much better when it comes down to it, in all honesty. And the players, we've asked, what deny Dennis Sutton, like, check it out. I'm going to post the full raw interview that I recorded at Kalista Andrew, and as well as at Andrew Kalista Sports, and on our YouTube page as well. And deny is, I don't know. We can't have any more I don't knows from the players. In the past, they've at least had they've had answers and say, we got to do this, we got to do this.
Yeah.
And they're not lost.
To some extent, I think that's with Deny in particular. I think that's a little bit of a personality thing.
Yeah.
He played his butt off today. Yeah. I mean, but you know, and the other piece of this, Drew Aller's out for the year.
Yes,
the starting quarterback is out for the year, which James said in the press conference. It's a lower body injury. We don't know for sure beyond that. You could probably make an educated guess what the injury could be, but he's done for the year. Ethan Grunkemeyer, I guess, is going to be the next guy up, and you know, maybe you already start building for the future because, you know, James, it's great to say, well, we'll get it fixed. It's kind of beyond fixed.
No,
you know,
it's broken.
Even if they're playing well in November, which would be a miraculous thing almost now, so what?
You forged a river on the Oregon Trail, and your wagon tipped over. Like this is bad. I mean,
the wagon tipped over, and you're in the middle of nowhere.
It is perplexing. It's awkward in a way for us. Like for a lot of things.
It really is. It's we're not having any fun.
And to the fans, I just want to say this: for the fans that have shouted out the media, we haven't done our job. Hey, there's a post-game call-in show on Thursday. I know some things get screened, but people showing up didn't really question anything as well. So I just want to point that out in retrospect. Katron Allen, James has been pressured to get Katron Allen more work. That works. He's got to be the guy. If any, the offense has to run through him.
And they ran the ball pretty well.
90 yards.
You would give the ground game a B on this game, I would say. And special teams, you would give a good grade because for the second straight week they blocked a punt and they downed a punt on the 1 yard line.
Did fumble a return, which led.
The fumble was huge. And there was a lot of mental mistakes in this game. That has not been characteristic of James Franklin's team, and that maybe tells you that they're letting go of the rope.
And to be honest with you, no matter how much people complain about the offense, and I know a lot of this, whether it's 50%, 70%, whatever it is, falls on the lackluster, the clunkiness of an offense. I'll take it back to Tom Bradley. I've talked to Tom Bradley in the past. He had a defense that didn't give up more than 21 or 20 points in 2004. And when guys would complain about the offense at Penn State here in 2004, I know that's over 20 years ago, Bradley would tell them to shut the hell up.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be giving up 20 points.
Yeah,
so that's the same thing that just happened out here. They're
connected. They're connected.
Yes.
It's complementary. It's got to be complementary, and it's not very complimentary.
No. In terms of Drew Aller, before the injury, just more disconnect with the receivers. And I
thought that specific thing, this was the worst game for that this year.
I wanted to look at something, and I wanted to see what scheme Penn State put out there to leverage their wide receivers, who are more talented than every single defensive back that Northwestern has.
You would think.
And I didn't see Penn State put their receivers in a position, schematically, to put leverage on the Northwestern defense to give Penn State's receivers a chance to make plays. And sometimes when they were, Drew Aller missed them. The pass to Liam Clifford, that's a combination. Liam Clifford has to play defense right there and make sure that ball gets batted down.
Yeah, but that was a bad throw.
It was an awful pass, but he's got to play some defense there as well.
Yeah, a lot of things have gone wrong. Now, Devontae Ross had a good game. He had, except for the fumble and the punt. On special teams, he had a terrible game.
Yeah.
On offense, he had 7 catches, and he had the one big play that made it look like it was going to, at that moment, 70-yard reception looked like it was going to turn it in their favor, and they did punch that into the end zone, but a lot of things went wrong after that.
I caution the people that are saying fire Franklin. On that watch, Matt Rule, I know a lot of people don't like that name as a candidate. He won at Maryland today. You got to win if you want to be the coach at Penn State. So I just point that out. The connection to Pat Kraft there is obvious from their days at Temple. But I caution it, you could always get worse. And I know that's one of the things. Well, who are you going to get?
Yeah, that's right.
Who are you going to get?
Yeah.
I will say this. The vibe in this stadium was the worst homecoming vibe I have experienced in my lifetime.
Yeah,
and I've been coming to Penn State. I come from a Penn State family. I've been coming for a very long time. This was worse than 2000, 2001, 2003, maybe kind of like it was on the verge of 2003, but I thought it was most definitely worse than 2004.
And it's because, based on all possible evidence, this should have been one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah.
This should have been that. That's why that's what sets this apart.
Yeah. Or maybe maybe everybody was hoodwinked. And maybe James was trying to sell something.
A lot of people who know a lot. Yeah, but a lot of people who know a lot about this sport and have no emotional stake were hoodwinked. If that's the case, I mean,
it does begin and end with the offensive line. TJ was in. They have some injuries along the offensive line, so we knew that would kind of be a struggle. It's not an excuse by any stretch of the imagination. TJ came in to talk about it. Again, perplexed. And one thing I do want to point out, we did ask about division. Multiple people asked about division in the locker room. James Franklin was asked about that regarding NIL. I asked TJ about it. Dennis Sutton was asked about it. I asked Devontae Ross about it. All of them shot down any division in the locker room. Whether that's true, but the question was asked.
Yeah, the question was asked, and there's a lot of moving parts. There's never been more than there are now because of the NIL stuff. And this is something that we don't know enough about. We in the media, this probably is our next big windmill to tilt at, is figuring out how that fits into the whole equation. What the contractual agreement, or even if it's not contractual and it's unwritten, the relationship between the coach and the player and how the money is affecting that. That's the next big story, but that's for everybody in the country.
Yeah.
This is Penn State, and we're astounded at what's happening.
One thing James Franklin has never said, we're going to get to work tonight.
That's true.
He said that in the press conference. Maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. James Franklin said, we're probably going to get to work tonight.
Yeah.
Because no matter how things were in the past,
that's true.
It's hit the reset, don't dwell on the loss, pout about it, be angry about it for a couple hours, and then hit the reset. I'm interested. I might drive over to Lash to see if anybody's in the building. And I don't think that's a stretch of the imagination. If James Franklin is serious about getting this fixed, and the staff, and they're paid like they should, I think they should be in there tonight. I think James Franklin should be taking out his word.
Well, that's what it sounds
work
like.
is getting done.
That's what it sounds
because it doesn't get any easier. Iowa City is...
Iowa's a tough place to play, and then Ohio State, and then Indiana, and you could really be looking at a free fall.
Ohio State fan tweeted out weeks ago, I honestly think the stretch of Iowa, Ohio State, Indiana ends James Franklin. I believe he tweeted that after Oregon. I don't know if we get to the end of it the way this team looks, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't
know.
So
that was just somebody who semi-covers the Buckeyes from a distance. But
that's a lot. There's a lot to chew on here.
Were you, this is the final topic I'll give you, and folks, thanks for staying with us. Make sure if you want to be a part of this, email the show. Blue White Tailgate Podcast, PAWCAST. We tried to be a little creative with that when we started this venture, at gmail.com. Blue White Tailgate Podcast at gmail.com. You can email Mike Gross at the Gross Rational Product as well. Hit us up on our socials. We love to interact with you guys. We appreciate all the comments last week. We try to point things out differently, how the administration's looking at them. If you're looking for the administration to make a move regarding James Franklin, I'm going to say that went from 0% last week to 5% during the week this week. It's just still, in my opinion, not going to happen.
Yeah.
But did you think the energy was there? Because I thought the energy was low. Running out of the tunnel, I saw no helmets bobbing. I did not see any energy for the players. This looks like a team that is done.
It felt solemn. Would be the word I would describe. And you could be solemn because you're kind of on a mission and you know you're getting booed and you want to just be straight ahead with blinders on, maybe. But I guess that wasn't the case.
Wasn't the case. A lot of questions remain regarding Penn State football. Where do they go from here? We don't know. There's still a million paths that this could go down. But here, after the Northwestern game here at Beaver Stadium on homecoming, it all but seems certain that James Franklin will not be here in the near future or for much longer at Penn State.
That's how it feels.
And that's what it feels. That's not what we're saying. That's just how it feels as the Northwestern buses head out towards the airport. I want to give a shout out to Frank Bodani. He's with us every single week. He's in there typing away for the York Daily Record. Make sure you check out his stuff, and make sure you check out everywhere, PA Football News, wherever, and Scoop News, wherever the Blue White Tailgate podcast airs. We want to thank our distributors and who are partners with us in this great venture. So, Mike, any last thoughts?
You're the man, buddy.
Hey, we try not to screw it up. From here, up high in Beaver Stadium, for Mike Gross, I'm Andrew Kalista. We'll see you next week and during our recording later on Wednesday.